Today, Group 5 are going to present our event design, the new norm open house drive-through. There are two things that define Malaysian culture, the food and the festivals. In every festivals, Malaysia will bring out foods that represent their respective cultures. For example, we have many festivals such as Hari Raya Puasa, Deepavali, Chinese New Year and Christmas. Okay, it is common for those who celebrate do an open house and prepare a feast during these festivals. Open house is when families, relatives and friends would visit the homes of those who celebrate and enjoy the feast prepared by the host. The main theme of this event is the cultural event. What makes this event unique is we're going to do it outdoor and it is going to be a drive-through feast. Okay, so the reason why we chose to do a drive-through feast is because ever since our country was hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, any mass gathering events are prohibited. It is to prevent the virus from spreading to many people, especially the attending guests. Open house signifies Malaysian culture and brings a lot of benefits. During this time of festivals, new friendships are formed and strengthen the bond between everyone. As for this, we are planning to do an open house and give food to attendees without any gathering. So we choose a drive-through concept. Drive-through is a type of takeout service that allows guests or customers to purchase products without leaving their cars. We are inspired by a couple that holds 10,000 people in their drive-through wedding back in 2020. So we thought, if they can do it, why not us? Okay, we will stick to all the social distancing rules. Every guest invited will be treated with a feast, with a pre-packed food that will be given through their car windows, and they can just drive on. We want to make sure that the tradition must be kept alive even during a pandemic.
Hi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Aisyah binti Miftah. My metric number is 270510. I would like to explain about event operations. Event operations is the department responsible for coordinating and integrating all other operations in an event, and it is associated venue which is during all phases of the event life cycles. Event operations are also responsible for ensuring the event comply with the safety regulations and listenable activity within event venues. And event operations can be divided on three stages, which is a pre-event, on-site, and post-event. For first stage is pre-event. Firstly, in pre-event is organizer have to brief and manage their supply. For the example, the power supply, security, facility service, finance, and the product supply before go to the next detail. After that is review and detail on venue set, timings, setup, food and beverage, guest accommodations, and registration to make sure that everything in place before the event starts. On second stage is on site. On this stage, organizer have assigned a staff registrations, food and beverage service, and also the transportations. Organizer also prepared the AV staff, music, lighting, and speaker for an impressive for the event. Organizer also manage food and beverage number effectively and maximize value and wastage. After that, organizer have register participants and run head desk. Next is organizer manage the emergency response, media, VIP, and audience pickup point. Lastly, organizer collect the attendees feedback through the mobile apps. For third stage is a post-event. Follow up the event shutdown, such as to clarify all contract issues such as the legal and the payment issue. Next, organizer also must manage the removal such as the equipment and catering at that place. Lastly, organizer must manage the cleaning, which is the disinfection the venue before leaving the event venue.
The next point is the logistic use. in an event. What is logistic? Logistic is generally the detailed organization and implementation of a complex operation. So, when we think about the event logistic, the event planners detail process that bring together people, place, and the event. An effective event logistic management will ensure the effective on logistic is maintained on the event. Okay, the logistic that will be used in our event, new norm, open house, drive-through, is the crowd management, the traffic management, and the safety. Why? Because the drive-through is safe, so people will come on the venue by using their own vehicles such as motorcycle or cars or maybe lorries, we don't know. So we must provide a good traffic management for them, so there will not be traffic jam because of they come at the same time and with the huge amount of cars or vehicles. Then we will provide a time and navigation for them, so they will come with the time we give and the navigation to come to the right venue. Then the crowd management is mean that we will decide the total amount of attendees to come, so there will be no food left, or there will no huge amount of people and there will be no food for them. Then the safety we will provide police and safety such as St. John ambulance or Red Crescent at the venue, so that if there accident happen, the safety have on the venue. So the police we will check for the traffic and the SOP on the venue and on the participant. So that's the logistic that will be used in this event.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Anis Farisha binti Abdurrahim and my matrix number is 271054. And today, I'm gonna tell you about what is crowd management. Crowd management is discipline and practical used to acquire skill intelligently to able to control and direct crowd with threat of panic, route to master station in an emergency situations. So, here tips for effective crowd management at events. So, as you can see, crowd can be dangerous unless they are managed properly. So, let's dive into some crowd management strategies that will help us avoid a disaster at our event. So, first, know your audience, such as example for football match and heavy metal festival will have a little more action than academic conference and so on. Know your attendees and know their acts in the crowd. So number two, plan in advance. How do you deal with crowd at your event should be part of your event planning process. Once you slide the venue, you can start thinking about how people will move around the the event. So number three, inform the relevant parties. When you have an idea the who, when, where, you can start contact everyone that will affect by your event and need to know what kind of crowd to expect. Like you can contact the emergency service, event contractors, local authorities, venue management, and so on. So they will be able to help your work uh, out the practicalities of crowd management as they like to have experience with similar event in the past. So number four, make a risk assessment. What is assessment? Assessment for health and safety at your event and intelligent part of planning your crowd management strategy. The identify potential dangerous and plan how to keep the people away from the dangerous. So number 5, have an emergency plans. Things can go wrong no matter how meticulous you plan your event. So that you should have the contingency plan for when they do. So you should have planned some that scenarios like the weather suddenly change, a fight break out between attendees, someone caught stealing, and so on. So number 6, use a lot of signage. You can avoid to answer a lot question on the day you used to when you use proper event signage. Make sure that your attendees can find their way around and know where not to go, not to go, and where them can go. So have big signs that can be read from far, like um, restroom, registration queue, uh, potential hazards, smoking areas, and so on. So, last but not least, screen attendees. If you think they change some, your attendees will try to bring out illegal to your event, consider have a security team that the security can pipe down everyone when they arrive, and decorate the different area. Use a barricades, cones, rope, or so on to show where people should queue out for a ticket and registration. Make clear where the main event is and fence off the area you want to be left alone. So lastly is streamline check-in to reduce queues. So a surefire way to tick people off to make them wait. Long queue can turn otherwise civilized event attendees into the polar opposite. So here's some ways to streamline to check-in process. First, have a multiply check-in points. Second, use a ticketing apps like Belito. Next is assign customer mind staff to handle the registrations. And lastly, use the barcode scanner or RFID chip or so on. That's all for me. Thank you.
I will present about risk assessment. Risk assessment is a term used to describe the entire process or method in which you identify hazard and risk factor that could potentially cause hazard. Hazard identification, analyze and evaluate the risk associated with the hazard, risk analysis and risk assessment. A risk assessment is to look at your workplace to identify those things like situation, process, they may cause harm particular to people. After identification is made, you analyze and evaluate how likely a server the risk is. When this determination is made, you can next decide what measure should be in place to effectively eliminate or control the harm from happening. Why is risk assessment important? Risk assessment are very important as they form an integral part of occupational health and safety management plan. They help to create awareness of hazard and risk. Second, identify who may be at risk. Like example is employer, cleaner, visitor, contractor, the public and the other people. Determine whether a control program is required for a particular hazard. Next, determine if exists control measures are adequate or if more should be done. Next, prevent injury or illness, especially when done at the design or planning the stage. When should a risk assessment be done? There may be many reasons a risk assessment is needed, including before new process or activity are introduced. Second is before change introduced to existing process or activity, including when products, machinery, tools, equipment change or new information concerning harm become available. Last is when hazards are identified. Next is how do you plan for a risk assessment? In general, determine what's the scope of your risk assessment will be. Just like be specific about your assessing, such as the lifetime of the product, the physical area where the work activity takes place, or the type of hazard. Next is the resource needed. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Salif Wazir Muhammad Qadri, and today I will cover the conclusion parts for our teams. So, as for conclusion for this event is that all of this components, the event design, event operations, event logistics, and also the crowd management plan, and also the risk assessment that all of my friends were already explained, the major contribution towards the event success. So for our event, which is the drive-through event, which the open house drive-through that we are organizing basically based on Malaysia, because Malaysia is one of the countries that has the richness in terms of the culture, where they always have their own celebration, and also the celebration are as important as the festival. So especially during this pandemic, the idea of having a drive-through event really a good idea. So this drive-through event is becoming one of the trendy, where especially during this event, which is designed in terms of Malaysia, we need to make sure that all of this event design is becoming one of the major contribution for the success of this event. So therefore, as an event manager, we need to be able to make sure that all of the preparations and also the planning and the implementation towards the event, and also the concept must be able to meet the requirement, and all of the operation must be run smoothly in order to meet the especially during the pre-events, and also the on-site event, also the post-event, which are the stages of this event, need to be run smoothly. The event cannot be run smoothly with having one of these stages or not meet the attendance requirement. Therefore, we need to be able to make sure that this event is becoming needs to be make sure that this event has their own impacts for the attendees' experience. Therefore, the attendees can also become one of the factors towards our organization, towards our event success. So, as a manager, also we need to make sure that all of the logistic used in our events are properly used and also be handled properly. So, therefore, while having consist of course, having an event, we might be comfortable with many of the people, where means there may also means that many people means many transportation, because they need to come to our event by having their own transportation. So therefore, as an event manager, we need to be able to organize that they have enough space, they have enough parking lot for the transportation, they have a space for them to come to our events, and also they also can come by on time, which is they can avoid the traffic issues. And not to mention that all of the SOP standard operational procedure by the Ministry of Health, especially during this pandemic COVID-19, must be strictly obeyed. So for the event design also, this is all the new types of event to meet the new norm for this 2021 event. So as an event manager also, we must be able to be ready when we're having a crowd, because crowd management are important. We need to be able to make sure that they don't have they don't have crowding issues where it is important. We need to control them during the events and also the post-event that we need to be able to control, so there will be no problem that we are going to face later on. And the last point for our conclusion is that we are about the risk assessment, where we as an event manager, we need to be able to determine all of the risks that might be happen, all the risks that can be countered, because in an event, risk can be one of the factors towards our unsuccessful events. Because having an event, when we event means that we need to be able to communicate with the people, with the attendees, because if the risk occur, an event needs attendees for the success. Because we as a manager, we need to be able to identify all of the risks that might be happen by having awareness at the first hand before the problem happen. So therefore, attendees are very important to our events, and their safety is also our concern. Their safety is our priority. Therefore, they can contribute towards our successful of an event. So I think that's all for me. Thank you.